So part of the idea is still dead center pull, trying to make them less likely to break. Now we're going to move into trying to abuse this a little bit. So it's a finishing tab, which is not generally a slide hammer tool for me, but we're going to try to break one. So I've got this slide hammer from Anson. Now I'm going to do 2 different kinds of pulls with this and see how we do. First, I'm going to come on, and then I always like to preload my tabs. So that's taking this gap out. So I'm going to come up and hold that slack away. And now I'm just going to go with a full send rip. Tab is good. Glue got a touch cool. You can see that breakout in the center. But let's see what kind of high spot we got. Softer high spot, which makes sense, being that it was a little cool and a slide hammer doesn't pull as hard on the face as a mini lifter does. Now on this pull, I'm going to stick with this lighter slide hammer, but instead of preloading and coming and taking the slack out of the move, I'm going to let this stay down on the bottom of the tab. And when I pull, it will come up and shock into the head and then rip off. I'm just going to go one-handed. Little high spot, very similar high spots, not much of a different pull. Now I'm going to go and sort of do a reset. I'm going to flash my tab and flash where we're going to pull. Come in here, set my tab. Good squeeze out all the way around. Now we're going to move to the Keco 2.5 pound slide with the spring compressed all the way, so no bounce, just a nice hard smack. And we'll pull this the same way, right? First I'll load it up and hit it, then we'll reset and leave it loose and snap it up that way. All right, so Keco 2.5 pound slide, take the slack out and send it. A little bigger high spot, right? Heavier slide hammer. Come right back in, and now we're gonna do that same pull with no preload. Keco 2.5 pound slide, no preload, so we're gonna leave that slack there, one-handed. Good. I'm not seeing any real wear at all where that shaft meets the face. We're gonna go to a full abuse mode. I think this is the 5 pound Keco slide hammer with no spring in it. We're gonna do that same move. And now I would definitely not recommend hitting your finishing tabs with a 5 pound sledgehammer. But I was talking to Hudson and he said, like, let's abuse this thing. I'm gonna go here, I am gonna preload. So take the slack out and full send. Yep. So on this pull, right, we're starting to level up our abuse. I felt really confident in all of these smaller pulls, given that I don't think anybody's broken one of these tabs yet. We're sort of on a mission to see what it takes to hurt this tab. So we're here, 5 pound slide hammer on this little finishing tab. We're gonna let it come straight up and ready. We're not making light pulls. This was the last pull. So we started here, we went 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and there. That's the order that those have gone in. Sharp high spots. All right, so now we're gonna get really abusive, and I would even call it like poor technique for pulling. I'm gonna stick with the heavy slide hammer. We're not going to preload our tab and take the slack out, which is best practice if you're going to use a slide hammer for your finishing tabs. And I'm also gonna get a little sloppy, so we're gonna come in here. Instead of pulling straight up, I'm gonna get sloppy and let that head come off at an angle, right? And yank this way. All right, so we pulled, and you can see that I was off center. Look how the distortion in the glue is not centered and it favors that side. I had the tab on and pulled essentially this way, right? We almost peeled it off. That's why that distortion is over there in the glue. But the tab is still perfectly fine. I'm getting no signs of stress anywhere on it. It's pretty awesome. I'm impressed so far. We're gonna come to this way and send it. Definitely getting a little bit of fatigue in the head of the tab where the shaft meets the face, but that's abusive pulls. definitely got a little lean to them. The lean's getting pretty good. The lean back. I would never pull this tab this way ever, just so we're clear. Cheat it. So now, all right, again, best practices would not do this. We're here, we're gonna let it get a little wonky like that. So we're gonna pull up at an angle and send it. Grip, 85 degrees, no slack. She ain't dead yet. All right, so the tornado tabs. Now we took it, right? We did get a little distortion here, but we have pulled with this tab probably flirting with 20 times, and not just 20 pulls, but like abusive pulls. So I took probably the gnarliest ones are going to be 5-pound slide hammer at an angle, right, coming over and ripping on it. Even after we did that and got a little bit of a bend to the shaft, we came back in and we have made some even sideways rips with the mini lifter with the robo and a precision plate. This thing, it really, other than that bend, is showing no signs of breakage, and you should not be pulling your tabs that sideways. Man, so far, these tornado tabs are Gluru approved.